I'm Will, and I'm playing Lennie.
I'm Liam King, and I'm playing George.
Will, can you talk a bit about how you'll prepare to play your character?
Reading the book and seeing what I can identify with.
So what ideas you want to bring to the
Yeah.
rehearsal room
Yeah.
and work with the director to explore?
Yes, yeah.
I guess at this stage it's just sort of mining the text. I think every time you read it there's like more and more to discover and more that you realise you don't know.
So Liam, what do you think will be the most challenging thing about playing?
I think navigating that arc, navigating the relationship, I think the fact like he sparks a lot, you know, and I think getting that balance right and working this relationship will be a big challenge, but something I'm so excited about.
And what about you, Will? What's the challenge for Lennie?
He's a big guy, but he has the mentality of a 5-year-old. It's that finding that right balance.
Because he has a big heart.
But he has a big heart as well.
He does. So Liam, can you talk a bit about how you go about finding the character of George? So thinking about the kind of physical presence and the kind of voice and all of that. How will you come to make George?
Strength of purpose in terms of movement. So I'll be leaning into that in terms of getting that initial sort of outline of what he is physically. And that, to be honest, that kind of then comes into vocally as well. Obviously the accent's a thing which we'll be working on.
Great. And Will, how do you create Lennie in your voice or physically? What do you think about?
Even though he's a big guy, he's basically sort of nervous sort of thing. And he's finding the right mannerisms.
In what ways does the way an audience responds to you when you're on stage, how does that change a kind of a character or performance for you?
It kind of is the show as much as anything is having the audience there. It can feed the energy, hopefully. So it's so exciting to think about getting it in front of people because it's kind of like a dialogue that you're having with them. They bounce off you and you kind of bounce off them, and it's like a tightrope and a good way of balancing how that works.
For you, Will, what's it like being in front of that audience?
When I'm in character, if there's a quiet pause and then a rupture, I know I fit the mark.
And the audience are with you
Yeah.
in that play.
Yeah.
Are there any scenes or moments in the play that you feel are quite significant for you as an actor?
There's a scene which I find so significant is actually not where George is in, it's Lennie and Curly's wife. It's a point where you see the dreams ahead of Lennie but also of Curly's wife. It's so crucial because at that point like things are on the precipice of change and moving forward.
And what about you, Will?
As William said, it was like with Curly's wife and Lennie, where you see her vulnerability for the first time. And it's like where our dreams are made and died. Quite heartbreaking to see such a strong woman be so vulnerable for that glimpse of a second.
Will, so why should audiences come and see Of Mice and Men?
So they might view it as an educational look on how they were perceived, how racism, sexism, and the treatment of people with disabilities and or work injuries were perceived in that time.
For you, Liam, why should audiences come?
It's a story about humanity, and I think there's something in it that everyone can relate to. It's powerful.
What are you looking forward to most about Of Mice and Men?
I'm so excited to see what this relationship is. Do you know what I mean? And to build that together. And I guess also to sort of immerse ourselves in that world. It's a really different environment, and the characters are relatable, but they're still very of their time. So I'm excited to dive into that and finding similarities to now, but also finding what's different. Yeah.
And for you, Will, what are you excited about?
Have the experience of working in an all-inclusive cast